Suzuki and welcome back to my channel. So today is Monday and I actually ordered something super awesome that I was looking through YouTube, and I actually was really interested in these cool markers. Well, these markers are called Chameleon Markers and they're supposedly better than Copic. So we're gonna be testing out today if it is true. If the marker is better, maybe the markers are the same as Copic, or maybe Copic is better than these markers, or they're just both in between. So let me introduce you to these cool markers. So they are called the Chameleon color tones. I don't know if you can see it, the glare. There you go. Because it's like a nice, the packaging is amazing, I would have to say. Like, I got the 52 set markers. They do sell them in individual, just like the Copic. They sell them in packs. So the casing is like this, matte, and then it has like a cool gloss embroil where their name is, and it's this thick. It's like a suitcase. So these two tassels, they actually come with a strap, so you can actually have them as like a messenger. They're really heavy, so I wouldn't even put them on like that. I removed them. Let's continue. So it actually slides up like this. I like the whole packaging, very professional looking. So let's continue and showing you the markers. All right, so here it is, guys. So it comes with 52 colors. It has like a little top that flips over. I actually changed the markers to have it like color coordinated, because that's how I have all my markers. So let's start by showing you the colors. The colors are very vibrant. As you can see, like, we have all the 52 set has several colors in here, like a whole bunch of different type of tones of red, orange, yellow, green, light blues, dark blues, purples, and pinks. And then it even comes with some of the gray tones and some nude tones. It also comes with a clear. This is a colorless blender, and it also comes with two different detail pens. So this one comes with the 4mm and the 6mm tips, which is really cool. It comes with the black, obviously. So let me tell you a bit about these markers here. I did test them out before doing the video, and I'm not going to tell you my opinion yet. So these markers are supposed to be a blending type. So these markers allow you to do that with two markers instead of a whole bunch of different markers. So let's show you some of the swatches, and then we're also going to show you what they actually do and capable of doing. So for these, this is what the marker looks like. Okay, so it's pretty big, long marker. Obviously, it's like longer than my head. So compared to a Copic's marker, now compared to the Copic's, which I have here, it's a pretty long marker, as you can see here. The reason why is because it has three different tips. Now, here is the brush tip. As you can see, it shows you right here. And on this other end here, it has the detailed tip here. And now the extra one is the colorless blender. Now, each marker comes with its own colorless blender. So it comes in here, which you can't really use it, you see. The reason why is because what this marker is supposed to do is, what you do is you actually detach it and you actually put it together with this colorless blender, so they actually touch each other once I snap it on together. And what happens is it gives you a gradient from light to dark. Yes, so all these markers are supposedly come with its own colorless blender, and you're able to do this with this marker. So when that happens, you get this gradient from light to dark. So I'm going to show you the examples that they give me here. This is what it's supposed to do, which is really cool. I think that this actually does this by not really using the colorless blender by itself, but it actually fuses together with the marker, which is actually really cool. Here it shows you 0 seconds, so this is what the marker will look like by itself without using any of the colorless blender that is with the marker. This is 5 seconds, so it's not that much. It'll give you just a tiny bit of it. 10 seconds, so 20 seconds, 15 seconds, 20 seconds. So this is what it is when you actually hold the marker with the colorless blender together. When you snap it together and you fuse it, you wait a certain amount of seconds, and this is what the results would be. Now, in order for you guys to use this, you have to have the colorless blender facing down, like the top one, just like this, because if you go like this, the ink will go towards the bottom of the colorless blender. So your colorless blender, it'll be kind of in reverse, so the colorless blender would be the color, not the other way around, in which that's how it's completely wrong. So you want to hold it up like this with the colorless blender facing down and then the ink facing up, so then when it actually transfers the colorless blender, all the ink from the colorless blender will go into the regular color, so fusing it together. The example on the booklet, you see, touch it together, and this is what would happen to your nib, and that will create this kind of cool gradient, which is light to dark. Let's test this out if it does work. Now, as you can see, it did work, and I did swatch all of them really closely. I did do it to each marker here. So from light, all of them are from light to dark with all the markers. I think it's really cool, and I also swatched the 4mm and 6mm nibs. I think this is the question is, are you able to mix and fuse color to color? So what I did was I used two colors. So I used both of them like this, and I actually put nib to nib like that to see if it worked. Now I'll show you. To show you here, it did work. So I'm really happy with the results here. So I don't really need to purchase those extra ones, but if you do feel like you would like to, go for it. I haven't really tested all the other colors, but I wanted to show you guys two different colors here. So from a dark green to a different color purple, and to fuse it together to get these awesome cool colors. And then I even tried it with the orange to the yellowish orangey kind of color, which it did work. And as you can see in the Copic here, I did the marker and I tried to use the colorless blender right here, and it's definitely different, but you can do it, but it's not as like noticeable as the Chameleon. The Chameleon starts out super light, and then it gives you a different tone of green here, a lighter green, and it just gives you several tones in that one marker when you fuse it with the colorless blender that it gives it. As for the Copic marker, it just gives you from not even from light to dark here, so it gives you just a lighter shade of the green here, not even a middle tone, so it just goes from light and then it goes to dark here. So it doesn't give you a nice gradient that you would like that the Chameleon markers do, but it is possible if you keep using your colorless blender. But the thing is, you're using that colorless blender, the ink will run out eventually if you keep doing this several times. As for the Chameleon markers, it's already built inside. You're able to use it many more times than the Copic would. Now I also tried the Copic with different colors. So the blue, as you can see, it does work here. Like, it works in several spots. It does get the colorless blender does work, as in keep getting your marker lighter, like two different tones of blues here, a lighter blue to the dark blue, a lighter pink to the dark pink, a lighter green to the dark green. So the Copic marker colors blender does do the job fusing these from light to dark. It also works too as if you want to mix two similar colors. Though for the Copic, you have to use similar colors. You can't use a green with an orange and have them fuse together. Now as for the Chameleon, you can do that. Here's a sample of what it does. So what I did was I actually used a yellow and a purple, and I used them together. That it is possible. So it gives you that middle tone here, which is really cool, which I really like. Same thing here. I tried something different. I decided to use the regular light blue, use the colorless blender, and then once I finished like 10-15 seconds, I actually put it towards and touched the blue marker. That's why it gave me an opposite. Instead of a light to dark, it gave me the color light, and then it turned into the other color because I actually paused it in between and used the colorless blender in between the two markers to see what effect it would give me. So it would give me this kind of effect. Instead of having a blue to a darker blue, it gave me the light in the middle. And here you go. I also tried out the colorless blender, since the Chameleon does come with its own colorless blender, and it does the same thing as the Copic does. It makes it lighter. Now, everybody's probably wondering, what is my opinion? Why do I like them? Is it worth it? Is it better than Copic? Well, I'm going to answer those questions right now. So let me start by talking about the Chameleon markers. I do love them. They are amazing. The technology that they come up with nowadays it just amazes me every time something new comes out. And I know these came out like about a year ago, and I'm kind of late in the bandwagon, but I'm happy I actually was going through YouTube and found these markers, because I feel like regarding the Copic, I feel like it's much easier to use when blending. Now, I'm going to give you some pros and I'm going to give you some cons. So the pros are that it does work. I would have to say, after all the tests that I've done, it does work. You can blend with, let's say if you wanted a dark purple with a red, you can blend them together to do that gradual color. Definitely worth it. And it also cool that it has its own colorless blender, each marker, so you can actually do a gradient from lightest to the darkest of the marker, which is actually really, really cool too. So that's what I love about them. The only thing I would have to say is a con about them is regarding when you're doing a project, like if you have like a big open space, like you want to do a big sky and you want the blue to be a certain gradient from a dark blue to a light blue. The problem is you can only do certain portions of it, and sometimes the portion won't match to the next portion that you're doing. So say if you were working on an 8x11 and you're trying to fill the whole space, the nib is tiny enough for you to just do that one section. Now if you want to do it again, you have to make sure they match. Now that's going to be kind of difficult because it runs out. So every time you do it, you have to do it. So that's why I noticed that they give you like a time sheet of the certain seconds that you do it. So make sure when you do something like that and you want to do it in a big piece of paper, make sure you actually know the time that you're starting with when you're combining the colorless blender and the marker. Now, when I say that, it means that, okay, so say if you did that one portion of the sky a tad bit different, you have to make sure if you did it for 10 seconds and you combine those two markers, you did it for 10 seconds, you make sure you do it again for 10 seconds so you get the same result. The only thing is you have to do it in multiple sections. That's the only con about these markers, is because the blending together doesn't last long, and also the marker tip isn't big enough to fill the whole page. Same thing with Copic. Copic has a smaller thing, so you will probably get the same results as well. That's the only con I have for these markers. I wish I got the other set that actually combines color to color, but as you can see, I kind of got it to do it with the ones that I have. I'm pretty sure it's so much better with the actual color to color transformation tool that they give you, but I try to make do with what I have, because yeah, these were a bit of expensive. So as for the price for this whole set, it was about $150 on Amazon. 140, 145 plus tax, 50, 150 I think it is. I'm not too sure, but it's around that range. So it is a bit expensive amount, but with Copic is $6 each one, so you can get so many. 52 markers. I don't think you can get that much for $100. But I would definitely recommend these guys to you. It's something that I'm really happy with, this product, and I'm gonna definitely continue purchasing more of the markers. Now I wanted to talk to you about, are they the same as Copic? So I would have to say no, they're not the same. I would have to say, Copic, I still love you. You are still my favorite marker. But I would have to say that the Chameleons do beat you at blending two different colors together. That's something, and it makes it easier. You can still accomplish it with the Copic, but not with a marker that is a blue with the yellow and you can mix it together. I would have to say that it does make my life easier when I use the Chameleons, definitely if I want to do blending. As for the Copic, Copic still has variety of colors out there, and they've been around for so many years, so I definitely would want to go for the Copic because of the color amount that they have out there. I feel like these markers could do and have a big range of following because of the magical blendness that it has, and I would have to agree, and I do like them a lot, and I do recommend them. So if you are into markers, definitely save up to get yourself the big box. If not, you can get the smaller box for cheaper. I'm not sure what the price is. I hope you guys like this video. I hope you do follow all my social media. I'm gonna put the links down below here, and comment down below if you want to see anything else. This is your girl Mizuki, and I am out.